I'm Kelly Rao, an audit partner in KPMG's New York asset management practice. We're excited to be releasing our 6th Women in Alternative Investment Survey, the first of which we issued back in 2011. We had 886 global respondents this year across the sectors of our industry, which includes hedge funds, private equity funds, venture capital funds, real estate, and the investors that service those products. For the first time, the survey included responses from more than 150 men. This year's report is titled The Call to Act. We chose that title as it represents the fact that we are beyond the discussion of why gender diversity is important in asset management and are now focused on what actions need to be taken to promote real change. I'm here today with Jim Sulia and Camille Asaro. Camille, can you start off by talking more about the findings and the themes that we found in the research?
Sure, Kelly. The data shows investors are driving change by putting pressure on firms. The investment teams of the private equity and venture capital firms that we surveyed are talking about diversity with their portfolio companies. In fact, there's a 25% increase in the number of investors that are asking the firms about their diversity efforts as compared to 2016 report. In addition, there is an increase of 31% at the investment team level who are requiring their portfolio companies to increase diversity compared to the previous report. Another key finding in this year's report is about understanding the gap between how men view the progress in the industry versus how women view the progress. Jim, would you talk about this aspect of the report and its significance?
Certainly. Thank you, Camille. As you had mentioned, for the first time in the 6 reports that we've run, we decided to study the gap between male and female responses. First, let me start by saying I believe both in KPMG and across the sector that males have to be part of this discussion because, frankly, it can't be up to females to solve gender alone, right? Diversification is critical, and we all have to solve this together. I guess the good news is this year's survey found that both men and women believe that this is a business imperative. So that's positive, right? But I think there's still work to be done because there's a significant gap between men and women as to whether the sector is doing enough to advance women. For example, when asked if the sector is doing enough to advance women, 65% of women do not believe so, whereas 45% of men do not believe so. So it's a 20% gap in expectations, which is rather significant.
That brings to thought what the firms are doing differently with regards to retention and recruitment. With regards to recruitment, there's actually been considerable progress having been made. We're having the conversations with folks about the fact that diverse slates are required. Diverse slates are required not only on the day one when someone enters our industry, but also at the executive level, at the experienced hiring level, which is a great conversation to be had. As it relates to retention, one of the biggest surprises that came from the survey was the fact that only 20% of women have access to a formal sponsor. We know that in order to retain top talent, a sponsor is someone who can really help on that. And we really hope that as our industry continues to progress, that folks have more access to those. Camille, anything you'd like to share in closing?
All of the key themes in our survey come down to the fact that the gender conversation is an important one to have at all levels, and that actions need to happen. We know that diversity leads to better returns. Retention and advancement of top talent is on the minds of the CEOs of the firms that we surveyed. We hope that this survey will ignite the discussion of how to empower more women to stay in the industry rather than find reasons to leave.
In closing, I would just say that we are extremely excited to release the survey. We are excited to continue to push this very important agenda in the marketplace. And I'd also like to thank you all for listening to our video.